from Kasamba.com, and we are live. I'm Divine Messenger Zuco from Kasamba.com, and thank you for joining me today for our live web show, where I will be answering your submitted questions for readings. We'll be doing samples. So, depending on the question and how things go, I might be able to get into more detail with some of you, where others it's kind of straightforward, and I'm not going to be able to get into too much detail based on the question. I have not received any of these questions yet, so I don't know what I'll be getting. I have been told that there was overwhelming demand and an overwhelming amount of questions that were submitted to us. So there is going to be absolutely no way I'll be getting to all of them. So I apologize for that in advance. The questions will be chosen randomly, and they will be supplied to me in a moment, I'm sure. So just while that's happening, just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I'm an energy reader, and I've been doing this for a number of years with Kasamba for about uh, 10 or 12, if I haven't lost track. If you want to bring up that question again, I'll be happy to answer it. I just want to get through as many questions as we can from Su Rojas. Hello, I need answers about my career. I am a massage therapist. Should I ask for training to work in office? It will be like a career change for me. Should I ask to my boss? Will I have more income? Um, I would. This really is about what you want, and if I'm to answer this correctly, you want to know if this would improve your income flow based on where you are and what you're doing. As far as you're concerned, the ideal way of going about this would to not just ask tentatively your boss, not just ask your boss tentatively, hey, should I do this? And is this a good idea? You'd have to be really sure before you approach her or him and say, this is what I want to do. And I'd like you to be on my side and I'd like you to help me get this done and tell me what do you think would be the best way forward. Don't, if you do it, you have to be sure. But don't ask her tentatively and ask her, you think this would be a good idea? I'm thinking about it. If I do it, what could happen? You have to be sure. And if you are sure, and this is what you want, she will support you in your endeavor towards working towards the office instead of in hands on. And it will. I say it would go very well for you, but you just need to be absolutely sure. Can we go with the next question now, please? From Jolene Shrimp, my ex and I reconnected. Will it last this time for good? Jolene 32258 and Todd 82561. Thanks for the question, Jolene. Um, you and Todd do have quite the history, from what I can see, and it's been going a long time. There's a lot of love and a lot of deep connections that have been made over the years between you both. What I'm seeing is that I don't see that this is temporary for you and Todd. Um, I see that he's not sure, but there's something within him that is driving him to you, that is making him want to make this happen for you too and make this work out in the best way possible. I would tell you that you want to set aside the fear that things are not going to work out, and you want to set aside the anxiety about the past and set your focus towards the future with him, with each other. There's a reason why you two reconnected again. And I would look at the past as practice. That you've both overcome a lot. You've both been through a lot. You've both matured during that time, and through it all, you've made it back together again. So I would completely look at the past in the most positive way possible, and look towards the future with a lot of faith, because I really don't see the past repeating itself the way it did with you and Todd. There was a lot of learning and a lot of rough edges that needed to be smoothed over. I don't see that repeating itself again. So you can go forward really easy, knowing that things are going to be a lot better. I'm ready for the next question. Carolina C. I'm wondering if I'll be able to fix my relationship. The limbo I live in is painful. Mentally and physically, the uncertainty is awful. Thanks so much. Thanks for sharing that, Carolina. What I'm seeing with you, it's about taking a stand. It's not about waiting anymore and wondering and asking, what's next, and looking for the other party to fill in the blanks. It's up to you to make a decision, take a stand, and define what is best for you and what is right for you right now. And in doing so, you're going to get everything that you want and then some. But if you leave it to them and leave them in complete control of everything, you're more likely than not to encourage them to continue sitting on the fence, so to speak. I totally see what you're saying here, and I wouldn't suggest that you keep going forward and waiting and be patient. The time for patience is over. It's time to act. It's time to assert your own value and assert your own importance and to say, hey, this is what I need. This is what I want. And this is what's going to get me to the other side. Now, you're either with me or you're not. But no matter what happens, I'm moving forward and I'm taking a step in the right direction. That's what I strongly suggest you do, Carolina. Can we start with the next question, please? Aisha Isaku, hello. Who is coming towards me in love and will it be long term? Single. 17th of May, 1993. Aisha, what I see for you is an encounter that takes place not randomly because you'll be there with a purpose and you'll be there amongst others. Um, I see someone who's a little older in a position of either being a guide or, how would I put it? I don't want to say a teacher, but someone who's there to guide you, someone who's in a position and not of power, but of it's the hardest thing to describe. But they're going to be slightly older than you are, not 20 years or so, but someone who's a little older than you, who you're going to hit it off with, who you're going to meet and connect with, not romantically initially. It'll be more professionally or academic, something along those lines, where it's all very respectful and there's you connect on a deeper basis. You connect not necessarily emotionally but intellectually, and that will set things off in the right direction. It's something that's going to take months to unfold. It's not going to be instant. Don't expect and look for that instant love connection that sweeps you off your feet and that makes you forget everything. This is something that's going to be cultivated over time, um, with patience, and there's going to be a lot of mutual respect, and it's going to be a very deep and lasting love that will continue for a very long time. Let's go to the next question. Kendra Mack, where am I soulmate at? Do I have an admirer? Thanks for sharing that, Kendra. I could tell you that you do have an admirer, and you already know who this person is, and you already have a sense of who it is you're looking for and waiting for and hoping for. Um, this is something that I see more or less unfolding for you over the course of the next 2 to 3 months, where you two like become aligned to what it is you're both looking for, wanting, and hoping to get from one another. I see you both circling each other right now, like you're in each other's orbit, but there's somebody else in the way that's distracting them and keeping them from, I would say, keeping them from allowing them to connect with you in a complete way. So I wouldn't let go of that feeling that you have in your heart, and I would not doubt it, but I wouldn't rush or try and rush the process either, or lose sight of it, or lose hope just because it's a little difficult. There's time. There's time, and it's all going to work out in the best way possible. Let's move on to the next question. Aaron Sherbine, is Kayana my soulmate? Will we work things out? Okay. Okay. Aaron, what I see is that there's a true love that's shared between you both, without a doubt. There are some lessons that have to be learned uh, from both of you. And one of those lessons that comes up is really important is how to respect each other and how to respect each other's desires, wants, needs, how to respect what the other one thinks and what they see as important in life. And what you see as important in life has to be respected equally. Um, I see that in the past there was an issue of imposing, even despite the fact that there was a lot of love. Love was used as an excuse or a reason why imposing was the best way to go because it's coming from a good place. Therefore, how could it ever be wrong? So I see that coming up here. And I see that both of you just need time to try and rationalize some of these issues, and then put respect at the forefront of everything. Not just relying on how much there's a passionate love that draws you to each other and that keeps you from wanting anybody else. That's not always the solution to everything. There has to be some respect between both parties, and even some space at times to let the other one grow and make their own mistakes in order for them to be a more complete person, right? So with that being said, I would say, be patient with her and give her time to do what it is that she needs to do, and don't impose. You don't want to stay away forever, and you don't want to completely ignore or play mind games or make it about your ego versus hers. But always show that kind of respect to her that she needs, and that she's desperate to get from you, and you'll see that things work out a lot better than you might imagine. Let's go to the next question. Theodore, U.S. I would like to ask if I will be immigrating with my husband to the U.S. It's a very interesting question. I see that there's a move for you over the course of the next 2 years that will allow you to cover great distances and allow you to. I do see that move. I do see a big move that's going to allow you to cover a lot of great distances. It's not going to be. It's not going to be as quickly as you'd hope for. There's going to be some delays that are just the way it is because of things going on. I don't see anything negative taking place. I do see things taking a little longer than you'd like. But overall, I see positive outcomes in that regard. So let's move on to the next question. Sherry, Irish, Albania. Hi, just to know about my career. I'm confused about which career I'm going to succeed in life or in the future. I hope you notice me. Thanks. Sherry, what I see is that you're stuck between two areas of your life that um, you'd like to enjoy. There's financial success, which comes with a certain degree of certainty if you follow the rational path that has been set out for you. That you know where that leads. It's just one step after the other, and that is going to give you a lot of financial success and gain. And then there's the creative aspect of who you are, that's striving to come out of you, that wants to be heard and noticed, and that wants you to take it up and run with it. But there's not that much financial success or gain there, at least not unless things really work out for you over the course of the next 10 years. And that's where the balance comes in. That's where there's a little bit of um, mystery for you, and a little bit of difficulty trying to figure out which way do I go with this. Do I go the rational way, which I may not like at all, and I know I hate already, and I see that it's basically eaten the souls of those who've done it before me, but I know that I'll be secure, and I won't have to worry about anything. Or do you do what your heart calls out to you to do, which gives you a lot of joy, but you're scared of not being able to pay your bills, and having things is equally important to you. And what really do you do? And this is where you come to me and you ask me, what should I do? If I tell you go the rational route, it's only because it's going to give you certainty and comfort and a sense of confidence. Will you be happy? Sure. To a great degree, you'll be very happy because you'll have, physically and materialistically, the things that you want and you need. And, those are important aspects of everyone's life, especially if you're going to have a family. You need that security. On the other hand, you know, you can't abandon all of your hopes and dreams. You can't forget what makes you who you are and what wakes you up in the morning and gets you going and gets you motivated to do what it is you need to do, to feel like you belong in this world, to feel like you've achieved something aside from making money. So, what I strongly suggest is you take the next 30 days to outline what it is that's important to you, and make a promise to yourself. What what is it that is going to keep me going? What is going to be my driving factor? Is it going to be financial success? Because you already know the way there. I'm seeing that's very clearly. You already know that path. You're already very clear. It's always, will I enjoy it? And that's what stops you. Will I like it? Will I be able to keep doing it in 10 years? And that's what only you can figure out. Only you have to work out. So give yourself a timeline. Don't just keep this going, and you don't need to ask another 10 people the same question. There's not going to be a magic answer. The magic is within you. And it's waiting to be discovered within your heart and soul. And when you've done that, light bulbs will go off. And you'll have no doubt what it is you need to do. And then there's not going to be anything that's going to stop you from doing it. This is how the best of us succeed, and how the best of us attain our dreams, and the best of us find happiness and a sense of satisfaction from what we do. That's what's going to motivate you to get to the other side of this. Okay? So let's move on to the next question. Hi, Zuko. It's Leslie. I'll catch you later, but I love getting to actually hear you. If you have time for me, I always love an update. Yes, Leslie, it's good to hear from you too. Thank you. Lulu LaRue. Very good, very creative. You had me going there for a second. So, Leslie, without getting into detail about your own personal situation, which we won't get into here, um, how would I put this? I'm not an update for you based on what we last talked about, based on what I'm getting about you now, based on where you're at. It's all about um, maintaining your focus and not losing sight of your goals, and prioritizing your own happiness above everything else, and making that choice day by day. Now, as far as the person you're going to ask me about, I'm going to tell you the same thing. Keep your expectations in line and let things flow naturally without creating um, mental structures within your mind that, without being fulfilled, would only trigger more unhappiness and sorrow. So we want to avoid all of that. We just want to keep going directly forward towards our goal, which is your ultimate joy and happiness day after day. And sometimes it's a struggle. It's not, the best of us can struggle at times. We misjudge, circumstances, and we think they're against us, or we misjudge situations, and we think that there are signs of doom, and they're not. They're not. They're not. Not at all. You're meant for greater things. You're meant for greater joys, and you know that, and you're almost there. You're there. It's just embracing it day by day. Moving on to the next question, please. Give me a quick sip. Cecilia Ramona, how long do I have to wait for him before he shows me the feelings, and are we going to commitment? I am 230398, and he is. Okay. Cecile, I hate to put it to you this way, but okay, how do I put this? He's what he has with you, he's happy with, and he knows you want more, and he knows that that is your end goal, and that feeds him, and that feeds his desire for you too, because he's not just engaged in a relationship with you, he's engaged in a relationship where he's fed attention, love, and desire from you towards him. And as far as he's concerned, it's very one-sided, and he's okay with that, and he enjoys it, and it feels good to him. It's a big part of his life. Now, if you were to ask him at any point in time, what are your plans for the future, he'd say, no, I don't have any. And if you were to ask him, do you really love this girl, and are you going to do something about it, he'd say, sure, but no. This is as far as it goes for me. I'm happy with where things are at now, and looking forward for you into this. I don't see any circumstance where he suddenly develops more feelings for you than he already has, where he magically realizes that he can't live without you. If he hasn't done it yet, then he may have shown you signs of that. There's a difference between being in love with you and needing you for his own personal needs. And what I see with him is a situation where he doesn't want to let you go. He has no desire to not have you in his life, but he also does not want to sacrifice any more of himself than necessary to get what he wants. And what he wants, he has already with you. What you're hoping for, I don't see that developing or unfolding or coming along with him. I see it slowly. I see him slowly disengaging a little bit at a time. As he slowly disengages, it's going to trigger you a little bit more every day to hold on a little tighter and to start feeling a little more anxious and wonder what is really going on and try and pull on him. And as you pull on him, he's going to pull away. And sometimes he might come back a little stronger and you're feeling like, okay, we're good. And then he slowly starts to pull away again. And the whole cycle is going to repeat itself over and over again. If you want to prove this, you know, um, and this goes for anyone that's in a similar situation. If you want to prove this, the best thing to do is to break up with them. Just break up. Tell them that, you know what, this is not working for me. I don't know if I can handle this anymore. I have deep feelings for you. I don't see this really evolving or becoming anything more than it is. And I need to cut my losses now. And that's it. You don't negotiate. You don't ask them for their opinion. You just stop cold. And that's when a person loves you, will come forward. And they'll tell you, no, 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 I can't do this. You're not doing this to me. I love you. And that's when they express their emotions, because if you have love for a person, you're gonna feel desperate enough to hold on to it and do something about it and work on it. Or, if that person says, okay, fine, I understand, that's it, we're done. There's your answer. There's nothing more to do. You don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. Don't sell yourself short for someone who's not willing to do half of what you're willing to do for them. You may love that man desperately and dearly, and you may be willing to do anything for them, but they may not feel feel the same. And it's only in really losing you that they really come to terms with the fact that, is this somebody I want to fight for and hold on to and never lose, or is this someone that I'm willing to let go because I don't feel like I have it in me to commit more, give more, or do more for them. It's better to know sooner than much later on, right? You don't want to keep going for another year of hoping, wishing, and dreaming that this person will come to you and give you more, right? It's better to know sooner than later. So let's move on to the next question. Andre Miller, I'm really trying to identify if divorce is necessary or if my wife is confused about something in our marriage. I just honestly want to stop crying. I'm sorry to hear about this, Andre. If divorce is necessary. Andre, what I'm seeing is that you two are like at opposite ends of the spectrum. Um, there was a time when you could have talked things out and made sense of what was going on, but that time has passed. And it's not. I'm not saying you should get divorced. I'm saying that you two are not able to communicate at all. It's not happening. You could be speaking the same language, saying exactly the same things, but hearing very different things from each other. I strongly suggest you try and get an intermediary that's going to be able to hear both of you and convey what the other one feels and thinks and needs. And especially without either of you, one of you being in the same room initially, it's not going to help. There's so many defense mechanisms going on between you two. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. So even if you both have the same intentions, you're not going to be able to get there. Even if you both are trying to say the same things and heal and even agree, you're not going to be able to agree. There's just so much damage that has been done, so many words that have been spoken, so many feelings that have been hurt. so much defensiveness that has taken place that it's become unworkable. So, yeah, if you got divorced, or at least if you separated for a time, it would give you both some time to chill out and regroup and maybe get back to a place where you're not triggering each other so much. But that's the long way and not necessarily the best way forward either, because that separation could also give you guys both time um, to reinforce the notions that are not necessarily the truth, that you don't love each other, that you actually aren't good for each other, that you need to get away from each other. I don't see that as true. I see what is happening is that you both love each other. You're both very much in love with each other. You both want to work things out, but you both don't know how to talk to each other, and you both have lost faith in the other. And because of that, it's just created this whole dynamic where you don't see a way out. Neither one of you do. You don't see a way that this can work, and that's just not the truth. You need to get someone else involved. And it's hard, especially for men to do this. We don't like to get help in situations like this. We try and take charge and do it all by ourselves. Well, we often can't do it. We often don't know how. And if you're already involved, and you're one of the people that you're obviously the husband. So if you're already too involved. You're already too involved, and you're probably going to need to hear some things you're not going to want to hear either. You're probably going to need to hear that how you were wrong about a lot of things that you thought you were absolutely right about, and that's really tough. And she may need to hear that she was wrong about some things that she's ready to stake a claim on that it's not true. So bringing in a third party will help her feel heard and you feel heard, because right now she's being heard by everybody else and nobody that's really an expert or professional. They're just her friends and her family, and they mean well, but they don't know what's going on. And I'm sure the same applies to you. So get somebody involved, get some help, and you'll see that within a couple of months, you two will start getting aligned again. And within even 3 months, there shouldn't be any talk about divorce. There should be talk about where do we plan our second honeymoon, right? So please get on that as soon as you can. Let's move on to the next question. Betty and Hart, hi. I'm just wondering if you can see a good man coming my way, whether it be a new person or somebody I already know. Ben, there's somebody that there's a couple of attachments that you have that I apologize for that, guys. There's a couple of attachments you have that are unhealthy, that you're holding on to, that you keep returning to these cycles, and it's not just one; it's a couple, and they're not necessarily good for you. And how would I put it? A clean start would be ideal for you. That would be the best. Um, Someone that is not related to your past, that you're not trying to impose with, that you two can agree and negotiate how to go about a relationship. Where in the past I see a lot of imposing on your side or their side, and creating these cycles of mistrust and happiness, and there's almost like battles taking place with you and your relationships in the past. So you want to let all of that go. I honestly, being honest with you, what I see, there's too much ego. There's too much ego. There's too much trying to fight and right wrongs and holding on to things that don't matter. There's still a need for you to discover who you really are and what you really want, and what it is in a relationship that's going to make you happy. And I don't see that you want to go through another crappy relationship. I don't see that you want to go through another set of headaches where you're not understood, heard, where you're not loved as much as you think you should be loved. There's a lot of the past that has conditioned you to look at this in ways that are not helpful. And we need to let those go in order for you to really be happy. But that's, again, it's up to you. You don't have to. You can go about it, any way you like, and keep doing what you feel has worked. But I really think it's time. It's time for you to turn a new leaf. And if that means you work on yourself and you let everyone go, and you disconnect yourself from everyone in the past once and for all, that'd be the best thing to do. And you just some would say, you clear your karma, or you just start fresh. You start fresh, and you welcome the person that is meant for you, that you're supposed to join and bond with for the rest of your life, who's going to help you grow and you help them grow. and you build a life together. That's what the ideal is for you. That's what's meant for you. But I see it's like two steps away. It's not directly in front of you. That's not going to be the person that you meet next. That can only happen if you let go of the past. I mean, everybody, you cut them all off, and you promise yourself, I'm never going to go back to any of them again. There's nothing there for me. And you forgive them and you forgive yourself. And then the next person that you meet, consider them practice, because you're still going to be rehashing some of the old habits, and you're going to catch yourself saying, gosh, why am I doing this? How am I attracting this kind of person again? And that's going to be on you. The kind of energy you're putting out, the kind of, you know, how would I put it? The kind of expectations you have, the vibes that you're putting out, what you look like, how you act like, what your expectations are. That's always us. It's not the universe, conspiring against us to keep sending us the wrong men one after the other. No, that's us. We do that. We do that with our behaviors, with our past experiences, with what we act like, how we act, what we want, what we say, and then we complain about it. So if you're ready for the next step, no, not the one right in front of you, but two steps away, that's going to be the person that you join with for the rest of your life, then you're going to have to do some digging. You're going to have to cut those cords. You're going to have to reset, refresh, and set your mind towards what is best for me, and what does forever look like in a mate. And I'm not saying do the complete opposite of everybody you've been with before, because obviously you're not going to be attracted to them, for one, and two, that's still putting in too much effort towards an outcome that's not necessarily best for you. What you want is to be at ease with yourself, to be at peace, to not have grudges with, Tom, Dick, and Harry for what they did to you. And you don't want to have like hangups anymore. And you don't want to have expectations that are just outrageous. Your perfect mate is not going to be perfect in everything. Your perfect mate is not going to have like everything you want. It doesn't happen. They'll have a lot of it, but there'll be some things you're not going to like at all. And that's okay. And it's a question of, can you deal with that because of the things that you do want? A lot of us, we prioritize things that are not good for us because we want those things. And we put up with things that are terrible because we prioritize things that don't matter. If you're prioritizing a sexual attraction, that's great, but that's only for so long. And then what? That passes, and then you're stuck with all the other crap that you really can't deal with, and you wish you never had to deal with for the rest of your life. So we got to set our priorities straight. You want a partner that's going to be with you for the rest of your life, that's going to be loyal, right? That doesn't care about anybody else, that doesn't see faults in you, that wants to help you through things, that's patient, that's kind. Does that matter? Do you want somebody who's strong, who's fearless, And then what defects or faults are you willing to deal with, and which ones are you not willing to negotiate with? You got to be really clear with that, and it's all going to come. It has to. Let's move on to the next question. Hi, Nick. You asked me what went wrong in our relationship, in my relationship, and will we get back together? Love and advice needed. Nick, you're a little bit in denial. You kind of know what went wrong, but it goes against your like philosophy and what you believe is true and it's important. What I see, Nick, is it was a matter of trust, and it's a kind of trust that can't be gained back that easily. Um, you can't have options with certain people. There's certain people that they're okay with it to a certain degree. I mean, you're allowed to talk to others. Um, some people are even tolerant if you cheat on them, but some people have zero tolerance for you even having somebody's phone number in your phone. They've just been scarred to such a degree that they can't handle it, and they won't accept it, and there's absolutely no patience. And if they even get a whiff of the disloyalty, they're gone, and they're not gonna try again, and they're not gonna give you another chance. With this, Nick, I would seriously consider with her, with what happened. Um, I'll consider letting her go and moving on. I see it's going to be, you'll never get what you once had with her. It'll become close. There's what you experienced before that was beautiful, innocent and pure, but it's like someone threw a can of paint over it. And you can wash off that paint as much as you want, but in washing off the paint, you also take off some of the finish underneath, and it doesn't look the same anymore. And I see this relationship is kind of tainted. Um, I don't see any real hope of gaining what you once had. I see you'll be able to get to a certain place with her, get together, but I see a lot of talking, a lot of arguing, a lot of you trying to prove yourself and then sacrificing part of who you are in order to gain what was once lost, and you'll never regain again anyway. So it's just a real cycle, and an endless cycle of trying, proving, hoping, and it's better to cut your losses and learn from the experience and move on, and be open to who is meant for you in this life right now. Let's move on to the next question. Alex Rocks 07, I need advice on a lover. He seems withdrawn sometimes, but I really care for him. Sure. Alex, it's all about expectations at this point. Um, you're wise to call them just a lover and not, but you're still conveying expectations and hopes and dreams, um, hoping that it'll be more, because just because you're constantly thinking about them and you miss them and you need them, you would think the same would apply to that person. All things being equal, even if the connection was equal in that sense, and it's not, they may not convey that kind of desire on an ongoing basis as you do. So we're getting back into how these situations can feed into themselves and make us a little insecure and a little and take a lot of our time and energy. You want to be really clear on what your expectations are. And I know he's told you no expectations. I know he said this is just what it is. We're not going to have anything else out of this. And you're kind of hoping it's not going to be the case and he's going to turn it around, because obviously your feelings for him have grown exponentially. And you know why he's being withdrawn. He's trying to assert himself. He's being withdrawn on purpose. So you don't get any ideas, because he's kind of picking up on the cues that you're sending out and the little ways that you form attachments with him, and try and, like, without imposing, of course, you just, you know, reaching out, touching, like, I care. I'm not telling you I love you, but hey, I do, right? So, and he's like, oh yeah, we talked about this, but just in case you don't get it, I'm just going to be quiet for a little while, and I'll talk to you next week, that kind of thing. So he's asserting himself in his own way without saying anything, while keeping the relationship ongoing in a way that satisfies him, but leaves you feeling empty, right? So he sees what's going on, and he's trying to, like, pull away a little bit at a time, and if that doesn't work, he's just gonna keep going until it falls apart. That's how I see it. Moving on to the next question. Brown Girl PO, will my partner commit? We go on beautiful trips and have amazing times, but when we return, he'll go cold for a week. No communication. I'm Laurie, 93071, and he's Marcus, 123. So thanks for sharing the dates of birth, Laurie. It really helps. It just helps tune in a little bit. Yeah. Laurie, the thing is with Marcus, he gets a little withdrawn, because the connection becomes so intense and so deep for that time that you two are together, right? And he feels so connected to you when you two are together going on these trips, and they're amazing, and um, he feels overwhelmed a little bit, because he comes back to reality. So when he goes on trips with you, it's fantasy. Going back home, back to reality, everything sets in again, and he doesn't want to commit to the fantasy while he's back home dealing with reality. and being unsure whether or not this is something that's going to evolve into something that you can commit to on an ongoing basis. But with you and him, the good news is it's just a matter of him getting used to how the times he spends with you when they are fantasy or not reality can become reality and can become um, an ongoing experience with you. I see you do love each other. There's no doubt about it. But Marcus is Marcus. You know how he is. He's moody, and he's happy when he's happy, but then sometimes he just goes quiet for long periods of time. It's not every situation, guys, that it's always the same, and it's not all textbook. That's why we do what we do, to give you some insights into what can't be necessarily understood or seen, and read between the lines. And with Marcus, it's really a matter of patience and respecting that time that he needs, to disengage and to get back into his sense of reality where he is. He's You and him are going to get closer and closer, with the passing weeks and months. But he needs to do things on his own terms, in his own way, and not feel that you know he's going to regret anything. It's just the way Marcus is. So yeah, just be patient with him. It'll all work out. We're going to take one more question, guys, and we're going to wrap it up. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everyone. Hi, I would like to know if Ivan has feelings for me, and will he reach out to me? Jennifer from Rwanda. Hi, Jennifer. I see you two are engaged in a game of back and forth, and yeah, he does. He does, but so do you. You have feelings for him too, and he knows it. But he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to show his hand just yet. He wants to take his time, and he wants to come in very strong, and he doesn't want to look desperate in any way, shape, or form. And he wants to do things in a way that leave him in control. So yeah, he's with Ivan. It's going to take a couple of weeks before you get a real major breakthrough, and okay, now we're dating. Between now and then, he's gonna play it off as if he's not that interested, and it'd be totally confusing. But yeah, you two will be fine. You two will be fine. You two are on the right page, on the same page. I'm sorry. So that wraps it up. I invite you all to reach out to myself or one of my colleagues at kasamba.com for advice, insights on your love lives, on career, on just most anything we could help you with. We're more than happy to do so. It's been a real pleasure answering some of your questions and speaking to you today. I hope to see you again online at some point soon. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.